Children, this is your Auntie Russ, come to give you some more information about the coronavirus and coping with our staying at home time here in Ohio. I had a wonderful weekend. I hope you did too. We had pretty nice weather here where I live in Ohio. I did see lots of families out on bicycles and taking little hikes, and I think it was so sweet, and it reminds me of a time gone by when families actually did things together and children did things besides play video games. And I also saw and heard a lot of birds, which is wonderful. I love birds. They, especially here in the springtime in Ohio, they're very active and they make lots of pretty bird calls. And I know that right now there's a lot of nesting going on, so there's a lot of activity, which reminds me of a weird experience I had over the last couple days. Early in the morning, I would hear a thump, thump, thump against my front window, and I could not figure out what was going on. Well, finally, I figured out that there is a robin. I saw this robin bashing himself against the window over and over again, and I could not figure out what it was, why he would do that. And so, of course, I went to the Google, because the Google is like the Library of Alexandria, you know. Everything you ever want to know is on the Google. So I looked it up, and they told me on the Google that there's some strange things that may come with spiritual meanings and symbolism. And one of them is seeing a bird hit a window. And so what does that mean when a bird hits your window? Well, birds can be messengers of God, or they can be your guardian angels. And also it could mean that sometimes it means that something weird is going to happen. And it represents a sign of transition. Well, we're certainly in a transitional time, aren't we? Something is going to close in your life. It means like the window is your life, and something's going to close, but you can expect a new door will open up for you soon. In the Bible, birds are seen as messengers of God, and they play an important role in delivering God's messages to mankind. When a bird is flying through your window and ends up hitting it, this could signify your constant worry about money. And boy, I think everybody's probably worried about money right now. In the Bible, you know, Jesus talked about the birds. He said that if God provided everything that the bird needed, then there's no reason why God wouldn't provide for whatever it is that you need. So there's a little statement of faith right there. If God will provide everything the bird needs, God will certainly provide for us human beings as well. And when you dream about birds flying through your window, this may be because you tend to worry a lot about where you're going to get the money to pay your bills. Oh, that's certainly another thing that we are thinking about right now. And so you should consider this a sign that God wants you to know that He is there to provide everything for you. In the Bible, it was mentioned that God separated heaven from the water of the earth during creation. But God allowed the birds to fly on earth across the vastness of the heavens, and that's because God wanted the birds to be His messengers. So when a bird ends up hitting your window, it's like someone in heaven is trying to send you a message. And I'm sure that my dear sweet husband, who did pass away 5 years ago, is trying to send me the message of, be not afraid, I'm here with you, it's going to be all right. But pay close attention to when this happened, as it might be the key to figuring out God's message for you. Like if it happens on your birthday, or if it happens on your anniversary, or the day someone passes away, that could be an important part of the message. Now, in the Bible, Noah sent a dove to know if the great flood had already ended. But the dove returned immediately because there wouldn't be anything for the dove to land on, which meant that the flood was still going on. So, but when Noah sent the bird again and the bird didn't come back, he immediately knew that the flood had ended. So birds flying into windows could be hard to decipher, but I tell you what, this bird's mission was not hard for me to decipher, because I did walk out to get my newspaper on the driveway, and as I looked back at the house, I realized that the sun was shining just right on that window so that it was a perfect reflection of the sky, and the bird was seeing himself in the window, and he was trying to scare the bird that he saw in the window off, because they're territorial, you know, when they're trying to build a nest. So his fear was causing him to bash himself into the window over and over again. So what I did was I went inside my house and I drew the drapes so that the reflection wouldn't be there anymore. And lo and behold, the bird did stop bashing against the window. Now, I'm thinking maybe some of us are being bird brains and letting our fear get the best of us. So I'm going to remember the example of that bird and not let my fear have me bash myself against a window. That's a good thing to remember, kids. Also, speaking of signs, I love this lady. Her name is Marla Berkowitz. She's a doctor, and she's the deaf interpreter, the sign language interpreter for the governor of Ohio when he gives his briefings every day about the coronavirus. And she's very expressive, and she's a little bit distracting in the beginning because she's so expressive that, the governor's standing there giving you whatever, and she's standing there interpreting. But it does make me realize, and I did read in the Columbus Dispatch that there are over 300,000 people in Ohio who are deaf. I never knew that there were that many people in Ohio who were deaf. So there you go. There's another thing I learned. Anyway, I did learn one important sign. Well, actually, I know 3 signs. My grandson, Gus, when I FaceTimed with he and his mom over the weekend, he taught me that this means yes. And I also know that this means thank you. And this means I love you. And I think with those 3 signs, you can probably get by wherever you need to go. All right? So, yes, I'll see you soon. Thank you for listening to me. I love you. Take care of each other. See you again.